My dream shop is literally going to be right there, and I'm so excited about it. I've been waiting to make this one for a while, and all of you asked for it because we earned 6,000 likes on one of our last videos. So if this video gets 8,501 likes, I'm gonna buy another Duramax and I'm gonna build it exactly like the OG, except with a few minor modern changes. I've got so much to go over with you guys. Let's do this, boys. Ah, yes, the long-awaited video you've all been waiting for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna take you through the plans for my dream shop. And as an additional bonus at the end of this video for my equipment enthusiasts, we got a lot of work to do outside the skid steer that I'm gonna include a little bit of at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Now, guys, before this video gets any further, I just wanted to remind you all that Dream Diesel giveaway number 16 is on its way out. The deadline is March 14th, so if you wanna get entered for Delmonico and $15,000 cash, you can get 10 times entries as a final week bonus. Peep that link in the description below. Cock yourself some entries because you might be taking home the title and the cash for that truck. One entry is all it could take for you to get this stuff right here. Think about it. Our winner circle is waiting for you. You know, I'm just gonna let that kind of chill right there, just because it hasn't gotten much attention lately, and truthfully, I mean, it's looking forward to meeting you. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into it. To the OGs that have been with me for a while, thank you tremendously for your endless support and fellowship. I freaking love you guys beyond words' ability to describe, and I genuinely wish that I could shake every single one of your hands in thank you and appreciation. Anybody that's new to the channel, it's great to have you. Consider sticking around for a little while because we got some really big things that are happening in 2021. When I got my first shop, which was a small little 400 square foot single bay garage, at that point in time, it was my dream shop because I hadn't had a shop before that. That wasn't the garage in my house. So it was a dream of mine to get a building that was an accessory building that I could use to build trucks in. And dreams somewhat become relative as they grow with you as you accomplish your goals. I like to set big goals because goals aren't goals if they don't feel unachievable, and dreams kind of follow in the pursuit of those goals. So then I moved into my current shop, which was a little bit bigger. It's 1,600 square foot. And at that moment, about a year after I moved into my first 400 square foot shop, that was a dream come true because it was a bigger building. It could offer more space for us to do what it is that we wanted to do. And nothing but about 12 months later, we are here again talking about my next dream shop. But this time it's a little bit different because I'm actually influencing the build and the construction of a structure that is ideal for what I want to accomplish going forward. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here you can see the plans for the new building. I am so excited to just be at this phase. You have no idea. Seeing things from concept to reality now, looking at these mock-ups is a massive step in the right direction, and taking what is the dream shop and actually putting it on paper and starting to realize what it's gonna look like in real life. You guys probably saw this thumbnail that I ended up putting out for my video, and this was kind of a cool picture because I actually got to take a photo with the shop in its proposed location and actually kind of get it somewhat to scale, angled out accordingly to see what it'll actually look like in real life on my property. It's just one more step in the right direction. There's still a little bit of ambiguity around the timelines associated with when the construction will actually begin because we're working on pulling permits currently, but we are about halfway through the necessary due diligence and steps that we need to take to get there. So I'm hoping ideally in a tentative time frame, we can begin construction on this beautiful thing that you're looking at right here in the April time frame. Hopefully it doesn't have to go all the way out to May, but it seems like it might work out really well. So just to begin, guys, this is 80 by 60 building with 16-foot tall ceilings. That means we are going to jump up from 1,600 current square foot of shop space to 4,800 square foot, which is just a tremendous leap, and hopefully looking at relative use and size to shop square footage and what we've done, this will give us a few years of usable space before we find a way to fill it like we always do, right guys? So we're looking at 80 foot in length and 60 foot in depth. Again, with 16-foot high ceilings, which will offer plenty of headroom for essentially anything that we want to get into the shop, whether it's something small like my skid steer, medium size like my Corvette, large like our diesel trucks, and extra large like a blown up RV. Did I just say that? Or something along those lines. More to come on that in the future. So I'll take you guys kind of around the outside of the building here real quick, starting with the top photos. So that is going to face the outside of my driveway right now. You guys remember that we put in that driveway extension. That was all kind of pre-programmed with the ideation that a shop was going to go right off of that in that current wood line. So those trees are going to come out. The grade is going to get flattened because it's on a little bit of a slant, the topography right now. And then the shop is going to get implanted in that. So that way we can use the entry and exit way right off of the driveway. It will offer plenty of room for us to move our vehicles around accordingly. That's why I love this picture so much, because you can actually see the shop in its mocked up location. I don't know, I'm probably a little bit too giddy over this, but so in terms of color, we're actually trying to coordinate this shop with the house. We have pretty much a tan house right now, and I wanted to go kind of like the black and tan theme. Our house is currently like a tan and blue theme, but we're actually going to match the house to the shop once the shop is constructed, so that way they match and coordinate well. I feel like that's pretty important to do, just so everything has a very nice aesthetic curb appeal. So this is a tan tin on the outside, with essentially black skirting, black metal tin roof, and black garage doors and man doors, as well as black around the windows. So you guys can see here from the outside, we have 3 doors. Their dimensions are 14 foot wide by 14 foot tall, which will again give us plenty of clearance, headroom, and width-wise to get pretty much anything we need in there at any given point in time. I had the option to go 4 doors. I could have gone 12-foot doors, still 14 foot high, but I wanted to reduce the amount of bays that we had just because I didn't see it necessary having that many. It will also give us good distance between each door, so that way we can put stuff there, or we can just use that as working space, because I want to be able to have the doors open on our vehicles without having to worry about hitting other doors or other things in the way. Now getting over to the right here, this is a double man door entrance that goes into a space that I'm really excited to tell you guys about. We're going to get to that here down the plans a little while. And then we've got a black timber frame construction with a little bit of an offset roof for enter and exit. And that way we can kind of keep things somewhat dry there right over those doors. And then you can see here on the right side, we've got 2 windows, a man door, and then another garage door under our canopy, which measures about 16 foot in width and is 10 foot high. That we're going to use for equipment storage. We're going to store other things under there, parts, whatever the case might be. We'll have a nice little destination that will be somewhat sheltered from the elements. And then here on the front of the building, you can see a nice concrete slab that extends 20 foot off of those 3 14-foot doors. That way there's kind of like a parking area. We can wash vehicles there, and we can basically get things up and off of the actual gravel driveway that this is going to connect to. So here guys, cruising on down to the bottom photo, that gives you kind of a shot at the back of the building. 4 windows on the back, 3 windows on the side. You can see we do have 1-foot overhangs on either corner of the building. That just gives a nice look and also functions very well. Allows us to install some really nice gutters so we can divert all the rainwater accordingly, etc. Now, you guys might be wondering what these stilt-looking things are that are coming off pretty much every post in the building, and those are actually Midwest permacolumns. So a lot of this building is inspired by a good friend of mine, Kyle, at RR Buildings. Kyle has been instrumental in kind of vetting out some of the ideas that I've had. And Kyle, I've been taking a lot of notes from you, brother, in the construction of your pole buildings, because genuinely, I know you do it right. And I'm really trying to kind of influence the same level of quality in my building. I'll put Kyle's link in the description below. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know who he is, but if you haven't yet, you need to check him out. He does pole buildings very right. So Kyle uses Midwest permacolumns to actually secure the posts to the ground, and it's a pretty interesting setup that keeps your wood out of the elements and really locks things in with avoiding any rot or anything along those lines. So I'll get you guys some different views here. You can kind of see the side view from the back right corner. Again, this kind of gives you a little bit more detail into the man door and the garage door that we'll have there. You guys will see why I have it set up like that here in a little bit. All of the wood will be black, and that again will kind of give us this black and tan theme. To any of my beer enthusiasts out in the audience, I'm sure you can appreciate the name. I personally love black and tans. They're very, very good, especially as we're getting kind of out of the cold weather into the warm weather. You'd like to mix that lager and that stout at the same time, and oh man, making my mouth water. And then again, guys, we're kind of getting another view here from the front left angle. This is the shot that I used for the thumbnail, and this will ultimately be the left corner here that's at the top of the driveway by where we cleared all those rocks out in the past. All right, so this kind of just gets into some average dimensional stuff. I kind of reviewed all of that with you already, so I'm just gonna kind of skip through some of that. Now we're getting to the Midwest permacolumns. These are really interesting brackets that almost look like a U, and then they have rebar that comes down off of them. And these are actually what are called wet set brackets. So when you dig your footer, I think it's going to be about 4 foot deep. This is an illustration of the footer right here. You put a sonotube in there that goes in the ground. It kind of adds a barrier between the concrete and the actual dirt itself. You pour your concrete and then you wet set these brackets that will then set and harden, and then you install your beams into that. So what it does is it actually creates a separation between what's in the ground where moisture will collect and where your actual building starts. You never really actually want to put wood in the ground because it'll rot out. Plain and simple. You're going to have a building in 40 years that's going to have to be demolished and then rebuilt because of something like that. These are really neat. This is a huge influence, again, from Kyle at RR Buildings. He swears by these things, being that he puts his entire business name on them. I wasn't about to question any of that information. So now we're getting into like a top side down view looking into the building. And this is really exciting, guys, because we're trying to optimize this space for everything that it is that I do in multiple locations right now. That way it's all here and we don't have to go anywhere else to do what we like to do to create awesome content for you guys and to run the business that I run. So again, you got your left wall, your right wall, your back wall, your front wall. Here are our 3 14 by 14 garage bays. And then on the back side here, you can see that we have an 8x8 door, which will basically get us in behind our recreation space. So we'll go into that here in a second. And then we also have a single man door. This is essentially like a mud door to enter in and out of the shop. That way, if we got a bunch of dirt on our shoes or whatever the case might be, we don't have to go into our recreation space. This is gonna be a neat little area where we're gonna be able to store side-by-sides, dirt bikes, equipment. We're gonna be able to pull things in and out or open that up to get to anything that we store out on what I'm gonna call the balcony or that kind of canopy covered area to the right of the building. Now let's talk a little bit about the recreation space. I'm really excited about this because I'm basically gonna bring my office out of my house into the building so everything is kind of all nice and self-contained in a unit. The recreation space is gonna be 20 foot wide and 28 foot long, and it's basically gonna offer double man doors that come in off of the timber frames construction porch out front. And then within that, we are gonna have an 8 foot wide by 6 foot deep. That's basically gonna have a toilet and a sink as a bathroom area. So that's basically gonna give us a 500 square foot area that's specifically used for office work, working on the computers, collaborating, coming up with these videos that we post for you guys, new video ideas, whatever the case might be. Right there. So my office is going to be in there. We're going to build out a grind hard coffee station in there. Probably going to mount up a TV, have a couch. It's just going to be a really chill area where we're going to be able to get super creative in what we like to do on this channel. Now above that, and this diagram does not show it, but there's actually going to be a staircase that runs alongside between this little side man door and the actual recreation space, where a staircase will be, and then above that recreation space will be storage. So it's going to be kind of somewhat of a mezzanine of sorts. We're not going to put a lot of stuff up there, but we're actually going to have about 8 foot of headroom up to the top of the ceiling to do whatever it is that we want to do, store some stuff, whatever the case might be. So that'd be pretty cool. So there's going to be 3 operating bays, 1 bay primarily for projects, putting things on the lifts, and then other bays for other use cases, which would be so sick just to have that flexibility. And on top of that, it's going to give us so much more room to actually film what we want to do. And the lighting in this thing is going to be so much better than our current lighting, which is just going to improve the overall production value of our videos. Now, I'm not really going to get into some of the specifics here about the column detail or the eaves. It's going to be a standard pitch roof and all that other kind of stuff. It just goes into some of the specifics about the construction and the engineering of the building. Here we get into some more details about the metal that we're using, the specific colors. I should probably comment that I wanted to add a decent amount of windows into the building because I love natural light. As you guys can see, my house has a lot of windows that brings in a lot of natural light. Really kind of just helps to set that ambient mood. Now, while we get to this view here, I should probably talk to you guys a little bit about this slab. So we're gonna pour about a 7-inch slab, which is essentially an inch more than the minimum that we're required to install a lift into the ground. For anybody that doesn't know, if you have a 2-post lift like we have down at our current shop, you need a minimum depth of about 6 inches to secure the butterfly bolts into that slab. Otherwise, it will actually pull out and crack the concrete. It'd be a very ugly situation. So we're gonna make sure we're accounting for all of that. And the slab construction underneath is actually going to offer radiant flooring. So radiant heat is essentially a water heating system that runs through tubes in the slab that's under the concrete itself. This will allow us to warm the slab as an alternative means of warming the space. We're also going to have what will probably be like a used oil burning furnace inside of the building somewhere that'll be suspended and hung up in the corner of the shop. That will actually heat our space, but having a warmer slab is nice to really offset the suction that happens with concrete. Anybody that knows in the wintertime, if you walk outside onto some concrete, it feels like it's sucking warmth completely out of your body and you feel like your feet go numb. Well, that actually is a massive energy draw in a shop just like this as well. So we are going to have radiant flooring, which is just going to make the whole situation that much more comfortable. Now, we don't have inside shots, but the inside is going to have white tin that essentially goes over all the walls. We are going to insulate. I'm not sure if we're going to do foam insulation or if we're going to do spray insulation. I kind of have to figure out those details. But this gives you guys a very good idea as to the direction that we're going for the building. Boys, check out all of my dirt. You have no idea how excited I am about this dirt. This is really nice dirt. And then I got even more dirt all the way back there. Lots of dirt, 36 truckloads of dirt in total. But this dirt is especially nice because it's topsoil dirt, my friends. I got a hell of a bargain from a local construction site in the area that I could not pass up. The deal was this: for every triaxle load of fill dirt, which is that tan dirt back there, they would in exchange give me 1 truckload of fill dirt. So I got 18 truckloads of fill dirt, which is this dirt all the way back here, which I took from this area and I piled in the back for 18 truckloads of topsoil dirt. This stuff is like brown gold. I paid a trucking rate of $85 per truckload, and the average route traveled was about 30 minutes. So I got 2 truckloads per hour. So I paid $40 per truckload of topsoil, where in the market today, that would go for about $400 per truckload. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, $400 per truckload, $40 per truckload. This stuff is so valuable. So what we're gonna be doing over here is using this fill dirt, look at all of it, to fill in open voids in my landscaping, like over here and over here, and some stuff probably in there. I don't really know yet, but I got a lot of dirt to do it. So I just recently picked up a new bucket for the machine. It's got an 84-inch Bradco on it, whereas it came with a 72-inch, and the bucket was okay. It was getting a little bit worn, but the one major issue was the bucket was actually not as wide as the tracks. So when you were cutting in the dirt, the tracks were working a lot harder and getting beat up. Whereas now the bucket width actually covers the width of the machine, plus some a little bit. So that way our tracks aren't getting all beat up. So we're about to jump in this thing and move a whole bunch of dirt. I'm so excited. It's like one of my favorite activities.
Ladies pet to go well. Get them high like them lift kits popping up in Oakdale. Y'all can't reach me. Here's a coattail. Jelly roll bumping in my black Silverado. I paved the lane. Copy, follow. No sleep, still creep on the grind for the fight. Big text call shots like a boss Dana White. And I came from the depths of the SeaWorld walls. So my spit so cold like a sea turtle ball. And I'm hot off the bird, off the herb to bourbon. More rings on my fingers than LeBron or Irvin. Gator boots on my feet, nicknames.
This is literally a dream come true for me. Moving that much material with my SVL 90 is literally like 5-year-old me moving all that sand in my sandbox with my steel Tonka trucks back in the day. I love that. That new bucket is so legit. It's unbelievable how much 1 foot of bucket width can move that much more material. Here we go, guys. I got my dirt pile all dressed up, trying to make sure that I mitigate as much moisture as possible by packing this loamy, soft, absorptive, spongy topsoil down. The idea is to mitigate moisture. I did not know this, but fortunately the truck driver that delivered the topsoil has a lot of experience, so shout out to Mark for passing this along. Topsoil is like a sponge. It'll soak up any moisture in the area, and I'm trying to mitigate as much of that as possible because I like moving dirt and not mud. So now we got to work on doing a little bit of deforestation here on the property. Those 4 trees are dead, and that one is as well. Not the big one with the lights, but the one to the right of that. The plan is to cut them down. It's a little windy out today, but we're going to use the machine to help force in the direction we want. things that we are. Ah, boys, equipment enthusiast, timbering enthusiast, chainsaw enthusiast, dirt digging enthusiast, land clearing enthusiast, all of the above for me except the wind enthusiast. I just don't like the wind. As we said, boys, 5 trees down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all fell right into this big old glorious pile that we are gonna light ablaze once the wind stops acting up. And then, well, we're gonna keep on doing what we do. That tree's coming down, that little one right there. That one's coming down, that one's coming down. Pretty much opening this entire area up so we have essentially a football field for a backyard. I am not a football enthusiast, only because I genuinely don't have time to sit down and watch sports. I appreciate them for what they have to stand for, and I like teams, but maybe it has to do with the fact that I can't throw a football. I don't know. You guys are gonna rip me in the comments below. I already know. I can see it now. All right, boys, I got a little bit of tidying up to do, and that's where I'm gonna sign off for this video. Those of you that hung around for this special treat at the end of the video, I hope that you guys enjoyed it. We'll definitely be working more stuff in here and there. Grab your 10 times entries for Dream Diesel giveaway number 16 if you want a chance to own that title and that cash that you saw earlier and drive unlimited every single day. Giveaway ends, boys, March 14th.